guys, I'm kind of struggling with this video, so I'm just going to talk about it. It has to do with being a pillar of salt. Pillar of salt. And if you may not know that reference unless you're a Christian. I went to Christian school in elementary school, so I know these Bible stories. And the Bible story was Sodom and Gomorrah. And it was LGBTQ friendly. It was the whole thing. I'm sure we would celebrate it. And God brought his wrath upon Sodom and Gomorrah, but he found a good man, Lot, and told Lot to get the hell out of Sodom and Gomorrah because judgment was coming. But he gave an instruction, and this was really interesting. It was, once you leave Sodom and Gomorrah and the destruction comes down, don't look back. Don't look back. Keep going forward. And so they started to leave Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot and his wife, and I guess his family. And as they were leaving, the destruction hit, and Lot's wife, she looked back and she became a pillar of salt. That sucks. That sucks. She's a pillar of salt. As a kid, I always thought, wow, this is pretty weird. I just pictured deer coming up to her and licking her because she's salt. And I don't know. As I get older, I realize the Bible is not always meant to be literally, is telling us a story to give us some advice in life. And this advice, obviously, is sometimes you just have to leave things behind and quit looking back. Because if you look back, you'll become like a pillar of salt, meaning you won't be relevant anymore. And I understand that. I'm kind of a pillar of salt in many ways, and I try not to be. It's easy to do when you get older, because when you're older, there's more life behind you than ahead of you. So you tend to look back, and that's not a healthy thing to do. And I thought of this when I saw Tucker Carlson he interviewed Donald Trump. And this was during the GOP debate night. I was going to stream the GOP debate, if you guys remember. And I thought, oh, this would be really cool. But then Fox News and their copyright, you can't stream this. We'll get our lawyers up your ass. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. So I just streamed Tucker interviewing Trump. And to be honest, Trump seemed like a pillar of salt. He wasn't the Trump of 2015, 16, energetic, looking forward, how he's going to change America. I'm going to build the wall, deportation teams, bring the industry back to America, fight against China, and get rid of these bad trade deals that like Bill Clinton gave us, in this globalism, bring peace to the world. It was an exciting time, and there was so much energy. And with the Tucker interview, he just seemed like an old man looking back in the past about how everything was unfair. And it wasn't fair, but he talked about his impeachments and the bullshit charges against him, and they are. Trump's been very persecuted, not because of him, but what he represents. He represents us, and the people in charge, they want to make us a statement that basically, hey, this is the old America, white and Christian and male, no more, we're not ever going back, we're going forward, we're throwing them in jail. This is symbolic, so it doesn't even have to do with Trump, really, and this is why they are going to convict him. And it could split apart into a civil war. The tensions are really high right now. But that's what Trump did the whole interview. He was looking back. He seemed to be low energy. It wasn't until like 2 minutes left in the debate, literally 2 minutes left, Tucker asked him, oh, what would you do the second term? That was it. You would think that'd be the whole focus. And that's one of the reasons I like Vivek. Vivek's young, and he's always looking forward about things he wants to do. He wants to abolish FBI. He wants to open up free speech. He wants to protect our borders. He just goes on and on and on. He wants to end the war in Ukraine. And this is good. This is looking forward. And that's how Trump used to be. And I just got a sense that Trump wasn't that guy anymore. And don't get me wrong, I will still vote for Trump because he's a symbol, assuming he's going to be the nominee. I don't think he will. I think he's going to be convicted of a felony, and the snakes in the GOP will kick him out of the party, and they'll get some other loser like Mike Pence or Nikki Haley in. But even those people, they're always looking back too. Like Mike Pence it's always perpetually like 1985 or 1939. That's the only way they can look at the world, right? So everything in foreign policy is Hitler again. It's just ridiculous. Like, oh, if we don't stop Putin in the Donbass, he's going to take over the world, just like Hitler. I'm like, well, Hitler didn't want to do that. First of all, that's a trope. That's not true. But, you know, times change. Nations have different interests. Or it's 1985 and we got to stand firm against the Soviet Union, those commies. It's like, hey, newsflash, the Soviet Union is gone. It's a different world. But he's stuck in that paradigm. And there's a lot of people like that. And the liberals are always stuck in 1968. You know, the hippies fighting the counterculture, even though they control the culture. And it's not healthy. We need to really look forward. And even among us, I don't know what you call us, the dissidents, there's so many people that are always looking back to other regimes or other times. We need to look forward. We need to look fresh. I mean, America that we knew is sad, but it's kind of gone. And one of the things I've learned as I get older, and here's a little life advice if you're young, is your good memories are more painful than your bad memories. You wouldn't think that, but it's true. Looking back in life, I've had some bad moments, but looking back at those bad moments, it's like, wow, I'm glad those bad moments are over. I'm glad I'm not in that stage right now. I'm glad I'm not in that position. So while those moments weren't good, I'm kind of happy they're behind me. But the moments that cause me the most pain now are the happy moments. The moments during a time that it will never be again. I mean, I can think back as a kid, my mother, my father, Mary, my brother, we're little kids. Christmas, it was a happy moment. It was a great time in the United States history, but that moment's never coming back. And it's nice in a way. It's a bittersweet memory. In some ways it's nice to think about, but it's also a little bit of a pain there that you see. And that's what I sense. And a lot of people, I think, we're having that feeling when it comes to America. We're looking back on how it used to be. You know, small towns, you know, white houses with a white picket fence, good people, boys out playing Little League baseball, none of this transgender stuff, just good people celebrating Christmas, kids going out trick-or-treating, Thanksgiving, college football. And I get nothing was ever perfect, but it had like a different vibe about this nation. Now this nation has become so corrupt and it's nothing to be proud of anymore. And so we tend to get like Lot's wife. We keep looking back. And I think what God is telling us with this story is you can't constantly look back because otherwise you turn into a pillar of salt. And I guess with Lot's wife, she didn't have a future anymore, right? She was a pillar of salt. Whereas Lot, he didn't look back. He had a future. He was moving on. And I think that's what we need to do as a people, is to not look back. I mean, yeah, we need to look back, learn lessons. I'm not saying that. I love history, don't get me wrong. But we can't live in the past. We can't live in the good old days with America of mom and apple pie and baseball and good people. Those days are gone. The evil people have a temporary victory. They subverted our nation. I wish that didn't happen, but we got to face the facts. It did happen. And we can lament about it, and we can be like Trump and feel sad about it and keep bitching about it, how it's not fair. But I think we need to be like Lot, not like his wife, and look forward and see what the future is. Something new. Lead us into something new so our children and grandchildren will have something. So that's what I try to do. I don't want to be like Lot's wife. I want to look forward, although in the end I'll probably be Lot's wife, right? At the end of my life, I'll be looking back over my life. I think that's natural. I'll just end up like a pillar of salt. And I think Trump's already a pillar of salt. I think it's time for the new people that really have a vision of the future to step up. And that's why I like, for example, Vivek and others like him. We need to move forward. Talk to you guys later.